This conference will now be recorded.
Last time I was going through this particular instance in which I was supposed to hover over this golf clubs, and there's a continuous problem which is coming. These golf clubs hovering. So that is how I wanted to take the x and y coordinate of this golf clubs area, and then based on the x and y coordinate, you are supposed to click on that. Okay, so I also wanted to find out that the golf club is displayed or not, because if it is not displayed, what will happen is that Selenium will not be able to perform any action or not able to find it also. Is it enabled by the user or not? So we have used the enabled property, and these two are actually used, the display property, enable property, to understand that whether the particular element golf clubs that you see out here is enabled and displayed. Because it is displayed and not enabled, performance of the Selenium will not happen. And that is the reason that I use the display property and enable property. The return type of this is a bool. If both are true, you can find the element. I've also used the point class. If you look at, I've used the same golf clubs dot location property, and location is a property which returns a point class, and point class belongs to this particular namespace called as system.drawing. Okay, so the point class actually has two static and static variables, x and y. It will give you the x and y coordinate of golf clubs. That is what we're supposed to do. And after that, my intention was actually to intention was actually to click on the element by the x and y coordinate. So let me comment the rest of the code right now, and let's see what's happening. Let me run this. Permission denied. At line number 24. So what is this kind of denial of permission? Okay, so this method is a static method I'm calling with the class name. What is the version of Chrome? 76.0. I think I'm also using the same. Let me understand Selenium 5. Let's go to package configurations. 76.0. Okay, so let me try to run one once more. Let me see what is denial coming. It's open the Firefox browser, is it? Okay, let's wait for it. Something should crop up. Yeah, I'm getting, you can see this is the true and true false display property, enable property, and this is the x and y coordinate of golf clubs. You can see that. Okay, I'll just close this out. Close this. Let me use it in Chrome browser. So I'm going to use Chrome driver. And run it once more on the Chrome. And since it is Chrome browser, the maximize is not working. That is working. One 155. Let me. And that's the X and Y coordinate of the golf clubs area. So, anyways, that is the X and Y coordinate. But since we have to do mouse movement and stuff like that, you just hover your mouse over the golf club. So we have to use the actions class. And the display and the enabled property is giving you true and true. 155, 150 is the X and Y coordinate. Okay. So I can see one particular thing that I am getting the coordinates out here. That's fine. Okay. Now let's see the action class is working or not. I mean, in the action class, I am basically keeping the X path of that golf clubs. Okay. I will not move. You can move by the offset. You have already got the X and Y coordinates, right? So you can use keep the address of golf clubs. Okay, this is the address by the link text, and address is written in W1. And there is a method of the action class called move to offset, where you have to give the X and Y coordinates. So let's see if this is working or not before I move forward. And since you have used the action class, you have to use the build.perform method compulsory. So let's say it is moving, and if it is moving, it is supposed to hover, and this will be highlighted. It is highlighting somewhere else. Okay, sorry, my cursor was out there. That is why it is highlighting. I'm sorry. Let me run it once more. So start with debugging. I'll put my cursor down. Yeah, it is highlighting. So it is moving to the offset, moving to the element by the X and Y coordinate. This is working. And the other way is that, as I've showed you in the rest of the codes out here, the same address is kept by the X path. That is this one. And move to the element. You are moving to the element method of the actions class to this particular address and then build and perform. Is that this is also working or not? Let me see that. Last time it is not working for whatever reasons. Sometimes you know, the system also goes mad and acts very badly. So let's say this is working right now or not. When the action class is working, do not touch the mouse or the keypad because it might happen that the simulation will fail because of the touching of your mouse manually or with the keypad manually. Yeah, it is highlighting. Okay, fine. That's working then. Then both the situations are working. So either you can use move to offset and give by the X and Y coordinate which you've got by the point class, or move to the element by the address and build and perform. Okay, let's give thread.sleep, and then we have to click on wedges. So clicking on the wedges will require you again. I can do it dot click method directly. Okay, driver dot find element by the X path and dot click, because this is nothing but you have to hover and click on the wedges. But I would like to show you with the action class also. So for that, I will take the inspect element and check out the wedges. Let me do it. Wedges inspect. So this is the HTML script of this. So I can right click, copy the XPath from here, and that is what I've done and kept it out here. Okay, in a iWebElement Web 2, and I'm still using the actions class. I can directly use driver.findElement by the XPath and .click method. So instead of using the action class, I can directly use something like this. .click. That would have solved the matter, actually speaking. Okay, but I want to show you with the actions class. So the elements address is kept out here. Move to the element and .click. Move to the element by the address defined in W2 .click and then build and perform. And then again wait for 10 seconds. So let's do that right now. Put your cursor down and don't touch it. So it has clicked on wedges by the actions class. Now the next approach is that when you click on wedges by the actions class, the next thing the wedges page is going to open. Now you have to slide this slider, left point of the slider from left to right. So before sliding, you need to take the price. After sliding, you need to take the price. Remember, when you use the actions class, the element has to be visible in the viewport of the browser. If the element is not present in the viewport of the browser, actions class will not perform the activity, and it's way down. Okay. So the approach is that you make the element visible in the viewport. How do you do that? You have to do vertical scrolling. You are not doing any horizontal scrolling. By just doing vertical scrolling, you can understand one thing, that it becomes visible. You just have to do vertical scrolling like this and make the element visible. Now what do? I want to slide from left to right, so I will have to take the address of this point. So right click, inspect the address. This is the address of this point, and this is the address of the right point. So I want to get the address of the left point of the slider, because that is what I need to move. And this is the XPath, or you can take the CSS selector also. And that's what is done out here. So for scrolling, okay, we have to do vertical scrolling. Why do you need to scroll? So that the element is visible. To vertical scrolling to the left point of the slider to make the element visible. Otherwise, what is going to happen? Action class will not perform any activity. I can show you that also. What do I need to do if I don't use the scrolling technology? So what I need to do is I have to take the price of this, right? So I'll go and check up the price of this. Just close this. How do you take the price? This is the portion where the price is defined. So I'll take an XPath, define the price out here. So I'll write down price before sliding. Slider from left to right. So driver dot find element by the XPath, and this is the XPath of that particular portion. And this ID value should be within single quotes. And you have something called as the get the text property, text present in that area. The return type of this text property is a string. So before price, I'll call this variable as, and then sys out, not sys out, sorry. It should be small s. This will be console dot write line is before sliding concatenate and then I have to slide, so I will take the x path of this point and I have to use the actions class because this is a mouse movement. So what I need to slide the slider from left to right. So I have to use the actions class again, actions AC2 or action 8.3. I have to pass the driver, and after that A3 dot drag and drop to the offset. Offset means you have to give the address. Address is by A3. Address is by, where did I keep the address? You have to keep the address in iWeb element. Left point. Dot find element. So take the address. Okay, and then drag the offset by A3. And if you are seeing it, I will drag from in the x-axis. I'm not dragging in the y-axis. The y-axis will be 0. But x-axis, let's say, is I want to drag by 25 points, pixel area, 0. Y-axis is 0, and this is by the pixel area. So A3 drag and drop by the offset. What do you have? I have element source, integer x and integer y. It's fine, no? That is the address of the point, right? So this is the address, sorry, not A3. And we have to do A3 dot build dot perform. And after that, I have to take the price. Now, if you look at the price will change, but the position is not changing. Position remains same. So the X path that I am taking out here will remain same. So Control C and Control V. I'll just do price after sliding. Now the problem is that you will see that this is the approach that you are doing. Okay, the action class will not perform the activity because if you look at the element is present when you open up this page, element present way down. It is not present in the viewport of the browser. You can check this out. So the actions class that will be not performed in that element. So let's run this. And that is the reason what we need to do is slide it, do a vertical sliding. And for vertical sliding, we have to get the X and Y coordinate of that sliding point. I'm sliding the left hand or the left point of the slider. Get the X and Y coordinates by the point class and then use the JavaScript executor to execute JavaScript code because the scrolling is only possible with JavaScript codes. So we have to use that. So anyway, before that, we will see this working or not. Let's move the cursor down. You see the pages page, and what is the state of the application? Let me see. Price before sliding is 25 pounds. Price after sliding also 25 pounds. Why the price is coming same? If you look at this is the screen opened. It is not able to slide because element is not present in the viewport. Okay, and if you look at the element is actually behind this cross sign. Cross sign is in the middle. So there are two things to do. Either you scroll or make you close this this portion by clicking on the cross sign. So if you can do that, you can do that also. Inspect and inspect the cross sign. Lock it down. Inspect the cross sign, and I will take this XPath, and without sliding also, without scrolling also, I can do this. Just you have to close this cross sign. The element becomes visible and it will be done. So I'll show you both the ways by scrolling, by not scrolling also under sequence. Now here what I will do is that close the, this will be applied here. The price will be taken. Cross button to make the slider visible for actions class to work. So copy the XPath and let's close it. Click on that to close. Click on that to close. Now, once you do that, you will understand that this will be visible. Okay, and then it will slide also. So you can do this behavior also. So I can use driver dot find element by the XPath dot click. Now you see that I'm just closing the cross button and the element becomes visible, so action class will work. Now without closing the cross button also, the other way is to make this visible, that is the element visible, the slider, is to use this particular technology. You'll see that anyways. Let's close this. Run this. In fact, I will be taking a short session today. Tomorrow's session will be larger because today I am just taking it because couple of weeks we have not done it, and secondly, my kid is in hospital because of her typhoid problem. I just came to take your class. Not been happening for a couple of weeks right now. But nevertheless, tomorrow we can basically start full-fledged. I wanted to finish up this particular scenario. Now you see the cross button will be closed. It has slide also. 40 pounds is the price. Now the cross button is closed, the element becomes visible, and you will see that the 40 pounds is shown out here. $25 before sliding. Sorry, for 25 pounds before sliding, $40 after sliding. You can close this. This is one approach. If you have some scenario in which the cross button or some window is hindrance, is becoming a hindrance for the actions class not to find the element, you can use this particular method. But I'll show you the other method also. I will scroll. You need to see how the scrolling is done. Now for the scrolling to be done, the first thing that you need to understand, you have to get the coordinate of this point. Inspect this. So let us get a coordinate of this point. So I will take an X path of this, go out here. So we need to do a vertical scrolling to the left point of the slider to make the element visible, otherwise action class will not perform. For scrolling, we need to use a JavaScript. For using JavaScript in Selenium, we use the JavaScript executor interface. First, get the X and Y coordinate of the left point of the slider. Use the get location, not the get location, yeah, get location property actually. Location property. Of iWeb element. Location property actually. So location property belongs to system.drawing namespace. And that is what I've written now. Location property returns a point class. So that is what is used out here. This is the X path of the area dot location property, return is a point class, and you will get the X and Y coordinate. What I will do is that I've already commented it. I will comment the rest of the codes. Let's get the X and Y coordinate of the left point of the slider. So let's debug and run it. So I should get the coordinates of the left point of the slider. 112 by 1812. 112 is X, 1812 is Y. For the left point of the slider. Okay. Now let's go ahead right now. Let's close this 112 by 1812, right? Okay. So I'm getting the X and Y coordinate. I'll write down out here. 112 by 1812. Is this what I'm getting? Okay. Now I'll have to do a scrolling to these coordinates. Now for doing scrolling, scroll to the coordinates of the left point of the slider. Now for scrolling, Selenium does not have any code for scrolling, but we can use JavaScript for vertical or horizontal scroll. Now for using JavaScript in Selenium, use the JavaScript executor interface. Now, interface object cannot be created. I have told you always. In fact, tomorrow's class will be an interface and encapsulation to, finish up the OOPS concept. And then the file handling because exception handling will remain. That will take care of. So, interface object cannot be created, but you can cast the driver to work as a JavaScript executor. So I'll use I control spacebar. JavaScript executor is a class out here. It's a class. It's not an interface. Okay, this class object will be created, but what I will do is that I'll make it to work as a driver, and for that I have to call the driver instance which pinpoints toward the Chrome driver class, and I'll cast the driver to work as a JavaScript executor. How do you cast it? The same way that you do a typecasting. That is what we're supposed to do. And so I JavaScript executor or what? I JavaScript executor is there. Okay, if you are facing that kind of a problem, then you need to go to seleniumhq.org, go to the documentation part. A lot of things we can't remember. Okay, by default, OpenQA JavaScript executor interface. Okay, so this interface has two methods, execute script and execute async script. Async script executes asynchronous JavaScript. That is, it is basically used for AJAX. AJAX is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Asynchronous script will not affect the whole page. A portion of the page will get affected. Execute script will actually affect the whole script. So we are going to use this interface right now. I JavaScript executor. I, J, S, and E are capital. I, J, S, and E are capital. Yes, that is what the problem is. So JavaScript interface. That was fine. So you cast the driver to work as a I JavaScript executor. Now remember, this has represented by J. Execute JavaScript. I'm going to execute the AJAX component. No, I'm going to execute the non-AJAX component. Execute JavaScript, and it takes two arguments. This is the first argument, and this is the second argument. The second argument can be blank. Now in the first argument, you have to give the JavaScript code. Now what is the JavaScript code for scrolling? Now remember, I'm scrolling only vertically. I'm not scrolling horizontally. If I had done horizontal scrolling, X coordinate would have been defined. Since I'm only scrolling vertically, the Y coordinate has to be defined. The X coordinate will be 0. So right now I want to find out that JavaScript for scrolling. So best is this one, W3 Schools, scroll to X and Y coordinates. I have to copy the whole thing. This is a JavaScript code. Go to your code, paste it out here. Now I'm not scrolling horizontally, so this x will be 0. Y, this is 1812. So I will put 1812 out here. And let's say it is scrolling or not. So let's run this particular code. When it scrolls, the element should be visible in the viewport. Is it basically scrolling and making the element visible in the viewport? Let's see that. Now it should scroll vertical only because x I'll give in 0. And I've given the y coordinate of that left point of this slider 1812. Let's see what it is doing. It is still not visible. It has scrolled, you can see. You can see out here this has moved. But it is still not visible. Why? Just scroll a bit up. It becomes invisible because of the menu button. These are the menu buttons. It is hiding behind it. So it is still not visible even after scrolling. So that means what I need to do is I have to scroll a bit less, not 1812. Let me scroll 1700 and then see now. Now it is visible in the viewport. Now when you are sanguine of that particular fact, then you can uncomment these codes. This code I will not uncomment because this code can also be used. Close the cross button. But I'll uncomment this portion and uncomment this portion. So this is one way approach to for the action class to work. Other approach is this. You should know how to use the JavaScript executor because it is asked in a lot of manners where it is used. This is used for scrolling. This can be used for alerts. This can be used to get the elements ID, that is the web elements ID attribute value. A lot of things. It can be used for getting the user agent of a particular browser. A lot of things are there. It's a popular question in an interview. Let's run this now anyways. Now see it as slide. 40 pounds before after sliding, 25 pounds before sliding. So you should get the price out here. Before sliding 25 pounds, after sliding 40 pounds. That means it is working perfectly now. So the two behaviors of how to basically make the action class to work, one clicking on the cross button and closing it off, one is using the scrolling technology by using the iJavaScript executor method interface. Both I have showed you. Okay. Because that is, I think I have also actually used this was on your BBC, right? Okay. So some more on action class tomorrow, but tomorrow I'll finish up your interface and encapsulation. There's one more business scenario on your actions class before we move forward to Webtable. Webtable alerts, how to customize XPath CSS selector, how to handle dynamic XPath and dynamic CSS selector, and what else is there? Uh, Wait interface. So once we do that, your Selenium will get finished. Any questions? Any question, guys? Yeah, I'll share the video. Okay, then I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Last session video I've not sent you.
Kaushik, can you share the codes also? Like, we download it.
Yeah, I'll send you the whole solution explorer.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks.